Happy 2021, everybody! As I'm sure we all know, 2020 was an extremely boring year. Nothing really happened throughout the entire year. It was like just a completely normal year. However, throughout this incredibly stale year, there has been some interesting scientific discoveries made that have pushed the world of science ever closer to a communist dictatorship space station ran by an AI attempting to harness human thought to power a laser that'll wipe out the sun. So, in a recap of the year, let's go over some scientific discoveries made in 2020. In the world of deep-sea exploration, scientists mapping the Great Barrier Reef in Australia were surprised to find a 500-meter-tall coral reef tower. It's not a straight-up Atlantis skyscraper, but it's more like a tall blade permutating out of the sea floor. This is pretty impressive, because the formation is taller than the pyramids, the International Commerce Center, and the Empire State Building, although it's still shorter than your crush's boyfriend. However, due to climate change, it's going to get shorter and shorter as time goes on. So, I think it's time that we stop the fossil fuel industry for the sole purpose of keeping the sea scraper standing. I think that's an issue we can all get behind. In the world of physics, scientists measured the shortest unit of time ever recorded. The amount of time they recorded in question was 247 zeptoseconds, which I know sounds like a term from Power Rangers, but it's real. To tell just how short this unit of time is, a zeptosecond is 0.00000000000000000000000000001 seconds. That's even shorter than the amount of time it takes to create an amazing website on Wix. You gotta reach out to sponsors somehow. The way the scientists measured this was by shooting a photon through two bonded hydrogen atoms and recording the amount of time it took the photon to travel between the two nucleuses. Although this very short amount of time won't affect most people, it will at least affect the people who speedrun Dragster. In the world of geology, a study was published that revealed that the Earth's core is most likely at least 1 billion years old. As you probably know, the Earth's core is a large 1,500 mile wide iron ball located at the center of the Earth. However, we are still investigating it since we can't exactly observe it ourselves. Previous estimates of the core's age was that it was around 700 million years old, but in this study, researchers simulated the formation of an iron core out of magma on a smaller scale with diamonds and lasers and made an estimation based on their findings of between 1 and 1.3 billion years. This might just sound like the geological version of saying, actually, but it's somewhat significant since 1 billion years ago is around when we think Earth's magnetic field started to form. This could be an insight into how magnetic fields form on other planets, which is something I definitely won't keep up on. In the world of astronomy, a telescope took some of the most detailed pictures of the sun to date. The telescope, named the Anuya Solar Telescope, located on the top of a mountain in Hawaii, made some sun discoveries when it took the pictures. Now, this isn't your average telescope, because if a normal telescope took an accurate close image of the sun it would instantly blind anyone who saw it, so this telescope is designed to take in extremely little light so we can see the changes on the sun's surface. Here's one of the pictures they took. For context, this is newly discovered boiling plasma on the surface of the sun, which is a temperature in the millions of degrees. And for scale, this is Texas. Wow, hell is real. In the world of history, scientists in the UK simulated what the voice of a 3,000-year-old mummified priest would sound like. They did this by using a CT scan to scan the still preserved vocal cords of the mummy, and simulating the sound it created if the vocal cords vibrated at a certain frequency. It's also a bit cool since it was written on the tomb of this mummy that the priest wanted his voice to be heard after death. And I bet you're itching to hear what it sounds like, so here it is. Drum roll. Yeah, no, legit, that's it. To be fair to the researchers, though, it's pretty accurate, since that's probably the sound the priest would make if he listened to the recording. Finally, there were actually several Mars discoveries in 2020, all of them by a NASA lander which launched in 2018 called InSight. The InSight lander was primarily designed to collect info on the planetary composition of Mars, and it did that quite thoroughly. It found that Mars is most likely composed of 3 layers, with a metal core at the center, just like Earth. It also detected its 450th Mars quake since it landed. A Mars quake is the non-scientific term for seismic activity on Mars's surface, by the way. A thing to note here is that the seismic activity is not caused by any tectonic plates, as Mars does not have them, but probably rather from a thermal cooling process inside the planet. But Most notably, InSight picked up something that didn't have to do with the geological aspect of the planet at all. Rather, it picked up that there is a consistent high-frequency sound which is present on the surface of the planet, and there is no consensus as to what's causing it. Yeah, I think this is a sign that we shouldn't visit Mars anymore. With that, those are some of the scientific highlights of the year. Although 2020 was exciting in the science department, I'm looking forward to 2021, where hopefully Mighty Zeus will emerge from his Atlantis tower, the first Mummy rap album will drop, and Mars will break apart and reveal a massive alien angry that we disturbed its slumber. It's only a matter of time. Well, I have to go check the views on my last video. Sayonara.